Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm in the house with Tina.
Hello.
And she doesn't want to be on there. She's a little camera shy, and that's okay. But we're going to be talking about the eclipse energy, and we've already been talking about eclipse energy, just her and I. But one of the things that was really important about Tina is she loves to teach. So she was like, we need to get this on a video. So we're doing that. And then I even have my angel cards. So at some point she's going to be asking me to pull some angel cards. So I'm going to be doing that. But she's got a couple of questions about her upcoming total blood moon eclipse in the sign of Virgo that's coming up this Thursday and Friday, the 13th and 14th of March. And so she's going to be asking me some questions.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay. My first question is, what does this energy that we're going to be in with this total blood moon eclipse, what does this energy want to teach us?
I will say there's kind of three things that it's really wanting to teach us. One is get out of your own way. And a lot of times I feel like that's one of the reasons why people are kind of stuck in an energy, is like they're kind of like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it. I want it, but I don't want it. I almost like I'll order the pizza, but I don't want to call the people to have it delivered. Right. Kind of that sort of thing. Like I want it, but I'm not willing to work for it to get it. The second one is to really get organized, and anything that's not kind of bringing a benefit to your life. And that would be like, if you're going to clean out your closet, if you're going to do something else, clean out your office space, if it's not a benefit to you, if it's not bringing something in your life, let it go so that it can benefit someone else in a way. And then the last one I will tell you is, because that Virgo energy is all about value, and what are you valuing in your life? What are the values that you're choosing to share with other people? What is it? Your gifts, your talents, your abilities, whatever that is. You're a great teacher, you're a great organizer, you've got some great gifts and talents in that area. So what are you willing to share with other people?
Right.
And for her, this video is because of her, because she wanted to teach other people. Even though she didn't want to be on the screen, that's okay. She wanted to teach other people. So that's your gifts and talents. So this is part of what you're creating in our world. Nice. So it's kind of like,
that's great. The value is really, really important. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, as we go through, is it what you value emotionally, spiritually? What is it as far as value? Emotionally,
spiritually, with money, backing up things. But I would also say, what do you value about you? Like, because Virgos are very much that inner side of each other, like that inside. Like, what do I value about me? What do I value about what's about to happen? Now, a lot for you, it's about the teaching part, and it's about the creating an atmosphere of teaching and learning, and what are you learning? And it doesn't mean that everybody needs to learn the same thing. That is not it. It's one of those, everybody's going to learn at their own pace. But if you're not learning and moving forward in your life, you're kind of already stuck. In some ways, if you're not, and I don't mean you need to be like 100% of the time like reading books and researching, because sometimes you need to read something and like process. We were talking about earlier, it's like I was listening to a book on tape last night, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I'm hearing this book for probably like the 8th time, but I'm hearing it a little bit differently. So I'm like, I'm processing. So it's like I'm learning in a different way, not the typical normal, like I've got to do it this way, but it's kind of like, I'm looking at this in a completely different manner. I'm looking at this in a completely different way than I've done before. And it was like, ooh, this is interesting. And I also thought it was interesting that that book was resonating with me last night as we're getting prepared for the eclipse coming up in a few days. So it's kind of like, okay,
maybe looking at it through the energy of what's going on
now. It's like, and kind of the other one is like, a lot of people have been really like slow to catch things and stuff like that. And it's like, you might have been starting to think about it, and then you went into something else. And I will tell you, nowadays, most people, what people are getting caught up in is they're watching the internet. And I think videos are great and that sort of thing, but there's a time to turn it off. There's a time to turn it off and really like, what do you want to create in your world? How do you want to create this in your world? And it's one of those, like that's like we get almost that lethargic energy where we're just like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, but are we really learning something? Are we really taking this in?
So what should they ask themselves if they want to know if they're stuck?
If you're really stuck, what I would say is, what is this? Is this adding a benefit to my life? So if you're going onto social media to look up, because I have my own business, so it's one of those, like I go on there and I'm looking up like, how should I, or get me some ideas of what should my next video be.
Yeah.
Every video I look at is this adding a benefit to me, or is this keeping me occupied?
Right. That's me.
And everything else.
Yeah.
So with everything, it's like, and there are great things, benefits of having a downtime.
Right.
But it should be like limited. Like, not, I mean, literally I was talking to someone and they were like, my husband scrolled on the phone for like 6 hours, and I'm like, that's not a benefit. That's sitting on the sidelines of life. And so everything that you add, what benefits is this adding to your life?
So how do they get themselves going if they're stuck? If you find yourself like, I've been scrolling for 9 hours.
I will probably say one of the best ones to do is do a salt tub.
Oh.
And so what I would do is, if you've already seen me and you've added your own rhythm to this, I would just do another salt tub before this eclipse gets here. But if you don't, get literally 1 cup of pink Himalayan sea salt, that fine grade, like you would cook with, that fine grade. And I would throw that in a tub, get as warm water as you can, soak in literally, and just keep that water moving. Not like you need to be constantly, but like moving that water over your head, getting a cup and kind of moving over your head, drenching your whole body in that, and staying in it as long as you possibly can, because that's going to help like remove that old stale stuck energy.
And that's a part of what you're saying about getting rid of something right now.
Get rid of something, and then know the next morning when you wake up, you're going to feel refreshed and ready to go, and like, now I'm ready to take charge of what's going on in and around my life, or what do I have to take charge and start those thoughts.
That was surprising, because I thought you would be like, okay, well, here's 3 things, but it's really just take salt. Take the salt and just cleanse and just
cleanse your energy. Now, if you already have your own routine, definitely do that. But you may want to add another salt in this week before we get to the eclipse energy.
That's really good advice. So, are there any signs that are just going to automatically get up and get going, or is everybody pretty much going to struggle?
Everybody's going to struggle to it, because that's what an eclipse is. It's not about a super like struggle. It's like, it's kind of, if everything goes smoothly, you didn't learn anything. So a little bit of a struggle is actually a good thing. When you struggle a little bit, it's a good thing. I will say Virgos will probably kick in on their own. Sagittarius will kick in on their own at some point, and so will Geminis. Now those 3 will kind of kick in at some point, and they're probably going to have a rougher ride than most. They're going to be more affected by this eclipse. Doesn't mean everybody else isn't.
Right.
One of the other ones I will get is kind of the way the energy is going to shift. Aquarius, Cancers, and Taurus are going to have a little bit of a little bit harder than the rest, and then everybody else gets kind of clumped in together. Everything else, so it's kind of like, these are going to be hard. This is going to be a little bit hard, and then everybody else is going to have a little bit of a thing. But if you never struggled on something, you didn't learn it. You know what I'm saying?
Very
like
true.
If you got on your bike when you were a kid and you rode down the street the first time you got out, you didn't learn anything. You didn't learn how to balance. You didn't learn how to do this or whatever else.
No learning curve.
No learning curve. You just did it. And that's some people do that. But you didn't learn anything.
No.
When you learn how to balance that energy, then it's like, now I'm learning about this. Now I'm figuring this out.
Wow. That's really good.